Welcome to Magic Gathering Strat. It's Brennan. Going over another tiny leader today. It's Anafenza the Foremost. I saw an awesome deck and sideboard guide, which I will link to in the show notes. I saw that on Reddit. That's right, Reddit. That place. Not just for pictures, wink, but also good discussions too. This is in the /Tiny Leaders section. What's Tiny Leaders? If you haven't seen the previous video, it's a commander variant. The decks are only 50 cards, singleton. All cards must not have a converted mana cost of 4 or greater, meaning they can only cost 3 or less. All cards must have the same color identity as your leader, just like in Commander. But it's a 10-card sideboard. Start off with 25 life points. It's a heads-up format. That's right, 1v1, just like a normal match. Best of 3. This is where I got the list. Reddit /r/Tiny Leaders. It's actually a really fun out there. Lots of good people. If you want to know more about Tiny Leaders, tinyleaders.blogspot.ca. So, let's get started with some Abzan shenanigans. Anafenza the Foremost, what does she do? You'll notice her color identity is white, black, green. She is the Abzaniest of all Abzan cards. Whenever Anafenza the Foremost attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on another tapped creature you control. Sort of like the new bolster mechanic, but you get to pick. If a creature card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Oh my gosh, she is a rest in peace. It's pretty awesome. Here is the list. You can pause it here. Pause. But I'll have a link to it in the show notes, so don't worry about it. This is the entire deck list. You'll notice this has more lands. There's not one repeated card in the entire set. Pretty amazing. Okay, let's talk about the creatures. Starts off with Banisher Priest. When Banisher Priest enters, exile target creature an opponent controls until Banisher Priest leaves the battlefield. When you want to get rid of something, Banisher Priest is pretty good at it. Then we have Brimaz, King of Oreskos, another potential for Tiny Leaders. Whenever Brimaz attacks, put a 1/1 cat soldier creature token onto the battlefield attacking. And whenever he blocks, put a 1/1 white cat soldier creature on the battlefield blocking. He himself has vigilance. 3/4 for 3 is pretty good. With vigilance, even better. Making all these tokens crazy. Number 3 in the list is Courser of Kruphix. You know what this does? Helps you play lands off the top of your library. And when a land enters the battlefield, gain a life. Deathrite Shaman, the 1-mana planeswalker. You can either make mana, give you life, or make the opponent lose life. It is one of the most versatile 1-mana cards ever printed. Next up, Eternal Witness. When Eternal Witness enters the battlefield, return target card from the graveyard to your hand. Very handy in getting stuff back. Next up, Fleecemane Lion. 2-drop, 3/3. But Monstrosity 1 for 3 green-white. As long as Fleecemane Lion is monstrous, it is hexproof and indestructible. OMG. Now we have Glissa the Traitor, another tiny leader in herself. First strike, Death Touch. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. If you are going to do a green-black artifact deck, which would be kind of weird, but you could, I would like to see it. Glissa is your gal. Alright, Loxodon Smiter. 1 white-green. Elephant Soldier cannot be countered, and if you have to discard it, you can just put it straight onto the battlefield. An amazing card. Now we have Mother of Runes. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice. She likes protecting her peeps. Then we have Rakshasa Deathdealer. Rakshasa Deathdealer is black and a green, but you can also pay black and a green to give it +2/+2 until end of turn, or regenerate it. That is really nice. It's like Putrid Leech, only better. Well, I guess Putrid Leech you can do it for, quote, free, but still, it's pretty amazing. Reclamation Sage. Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, destroy an artifact or enchantment. It's a 2/1 for 2 and a green. That is a great card. Pretty impressive they put something like that in a core set. Now we have Silverblade Paladin, Soul Bond. Gives them both double strike. Double strike can win you a game, folks. Do not ever underestimate double strike. And now we have Sin Collector. If you want to take something from their hand, Sin Collector is a good way of doing it. 1 white-black, and you can exile it at instant or sorcery. Really neat. Then we have a broken card called Stoneforge Mystic. 1 in white. When it enters, search for an equipment card, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. Then you can 1 in a white tap it. You may put an equipment card from your hand onto the battlefield. That is double times broken. But there's no Batter Skull in this format, so it's a little less broken. But there are a lot of swords. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. First strike. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. It can really hose non-creature based decks. Now we have, ending up with Voice of Resurgence. Green and white. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, or when voice dies, put a green-white elemental creature token. Elemental creature token's power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. It just grows. It's pretty disgusting. Alright, let's look at some of the spells. Sorceries. We have Council's Judgment. Will of the Council. Starting with you, each player votes non-land permanent you don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes or tied. This is the way to get, this is how you get around, the merfolk. Protection from everything. True name Nemesis. I name true name Nemesis. Oh, guess what? It isn't targeting. Yes. Bye-bye, true name. Really anything you want. Since there's only 2 of you, you'll always be exiled. Green Sun Zenith. X and a green. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less. And since everything costs 3 or less, it'll never be more than 4. Very mana efficient. Hymn to Tourach. Target player discards 2 cards at random. That's an amazing card. Inquisition of Kozilek. Sorcery for a single black. Target player reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from it with converted mana cost 3 or less. Guess what? All cards in this format are 3 or less. Thoughtseize. Actually, in this format, Inquisition is better because there's no life loss. Interesting. I just thought about that. Next we have Instance, Abrupt Decay. Guess what? Permanent 3 or less. This is an absolute bomb in this format. Just destroy it. Anything, really. Chord of Calling. X, green, green, green. Convoke. Search your library for a creature card of X or less. And put it onto the battlefield. Not even into your hand. Instant speed. Shenanigans. Very handy. Then we have Dismember. And then 1. And then black Phyrexian, black Phyrexian. Target creature gets -5/-5 till end of turn. Now we have Path to Exile, single white, exile target creature, but then they can search for land, but that is not a big deal. Exile those creatures. Then we have Swords of Plowshare, exile a creature, but they gain life equal to its power, so what? 2 of the most powerful removal spells in the entire game are in a single deck. This deck is very tuned. It has all kinds of removal. It's got answers. It's really good. You'll notice when you go out to the Reddit forum that the sideboarding is very detailed. Next up, Bitter Blossom enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life, but you get a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature with flying. Tokens for days. You have Oblivion Ring. It's 2 and a white. When it comes into play, remove another target non-land permanent from the game. That's right, exile it. And this is the non-fixed version, which you can actually exile permanently if you can somehow get rid of this while it's resolving. It's a lot of work, but you can do it. And now we have Pernicious Deed, one of the greatest sweepers in the entire format. X, sacrifice Pernicious Deed, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less. And you only have to do it for 3, because nothing here costs more than 3. It's crazy. Alright, lands, there's a bunch of them. Cavern of Souls. I will say that I think you could probably cut Cavern of Souls if you wanted to shave off some money, because you could, I guess, say human and then Anafenza can't be countered, but I don't think it's 100% necessary. Command Tower. Dryad Arbor. Just a forest. Gavany Township, that's right, you can put 1/1 counters on all your creatures with this little card. It's a land. You can also tap it for mana. That's great. Godless Shrine. Marsh Flats. Another place you could probably cut some funds from your deck. I mean, it's nice to be able to search, but it's very expensive. Overgrown Tomb. It is a swamp and a forest. So nice. Single Plains. Razorverge Thicket. Reflecting Pool. I like that. Shinzo Death's Storehouse. This is one that not many people see on a daily basis. Legendary land. You can tap it for black, or target legendary creature gains fear until end of turn. That's handy, especially if you have soul bonded something with Silverblade Paladin. It's great. Here's your Singleton Swamp. Temple Garden. I like this art better than the new art. Urborg. Every land is a swamp in addition to its other land type. Oh. This also works on your opponent's lands, so just a heads up. Verdant Catacombs, another place you could probably shave some cash. All depends on your budget and how tuned you want your deck to be. Windswept Heath really isn't expensive right now. I recommend getting them before everything rotates. And then you have Woodland Cemetery. The Golgari Buddy land. Let's talk about artifacts. Artifacts, you have Sword of Feast and Famine. Equip creature gets +2/+2, has protection from green and black, oddly enough. You have Sword of Fire and Ice, protection from red and blue. It does lots of crazy things, but deals combat damage. You can do 2 to a creature or player and draw a card. That's nuts. Let's talk about the sideboard. Celestial Purge. Exile target black or red permanent. If someone's giving you a lot of problems and they are red or black, this is your go-to card. Choke, if you're playing against a islands heavy deck. Choke can keep them pretty much out of the game, especially if they have some kind of all blue deck. Yeah, you would totally devastate them. Grand Abolisher. I like this one because they can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifact, creatures, or enchantments during your turn. That's handy. Core Firewalker, if I could talk. Protection from red, and if they cast red spells, you gain 1 life. If there's some kind of tiny leader burn deck, this is the dude you want out in play for you. Core Sanctifiers, one of the greatest utility creatures because you can kick it, and they can destroy an artifact or enchantment. Very handy. Croson's Grip. If you absolutely must get rid of an artifact or enchantment, I highly recommend Croson's Grip. Split Second keeps him from being countered. Orzhov Pontiff. This was seeing a lot of play recently when they moved Siege Rhino to the pod deck, but now that pod's gone, I don't know what kind of play this Pontiff's going to see. When Orzhov Pontiff comes into play, or the creature it haunts is put into the graveyard, pretty interesting because you can do it twice. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, or creatures you don't control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Sort of a mini Elvish Norm. Relic of Progenitus. If they're utilizing the graveyard, Relic can help you out. Rest in Peace. For when Anafenza is not on the battlefield, Rest in Peace will take care of their items going into the graveyard. Here's Sword of War and Peace again. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and white. Whenever it deals combat damage, it to the player equal to the number of cards in his or her hand, and you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. That is complicated, but very handy. Stoneforge Mystic can help you get that out. Alright, let's take a look at the curve. As we know, it tops out at 3, but this is very 3 heavy. 16 total cards are mana cost 3. And that is quite a bit. You only have 8 and 7 spread out, but with the types of cards you have, I don't see it as a problem. It's a very, very fast format. But there is something I do want to talk about before we leave this page. It's the cost. Last deck I went over, the Lin CV deck, was very cheap. This deck, $471 as of recording this. The top offenders are over there on the side. So if you can find replacements for these cards, now is it going to be as tuned? No. But are you doing this for fun, or are you doing this for a tournament? Just doing it for fun, you can shave off $260. Still an expensive deck, but you probably already have most of those cards mentioned already, so I'm guessing it wouldn't cost you that much anyway. But I just wanted to make you aware of the cost involved in this deck, since we do tend to concentrate on budget on this site. Let's take a look at an opening hand. Swamp, Godless Shrine, Marsh Flats, Deathrite Shaman, Stoneforge Mystic, Courser of Kruphix, Sword of Fire and Ice. Wow. I don't think you couldn't ask for a better hand than that. I don't even know if I would start off with Deathrite right away. I'd probably do Swamp, then Marsh Flats, then Deathrite, then Godless to try to hold off, or might not even do that. But you might need an extra green if you want to put that Courser out. So I'd probably put Deathrite out there second. So start off with Godless Shrine, tapped. Next turn, Marsh Flats, search for Overgrown Tomb, play Deathrite. The next turn, if you haven't drawn a land at that point, you can exile the Marsh Flats and get yourself double green for the Courser. Wow. This is just the opening hand alone is pretty awesome. Let's take a look at the next 6 and see if we are rewarded. Dismember, excellent. You have some early removal. Gavany Township, another land. Also, you can start putting counters on it pretty quick. Thoughtseize, very handy at this point, especially if they've searched for something. Don't discount waiting till they search. Then you have Banisher Priest. Again, if they've played something, go ahead and exile it. It's pretty awesome. Shinzo Death's Storehouse. It's a little hard to read on there, but you can give something fear at this point, and some black mana. Dryad Arbor is also a creature, so if they're having sacrifice effects, this is the go-to target. Yes, it sets you back a land, but at least you got your creature still on the board. Yeah, this first 6 rounds are going to go very well for you if you are using this particular setup. So, that brings us to the end. Don't forget magicgatheringstrat.com. Also on the YouTube, you're already here. Go ahead and subscribe. We do all kinds of videos like this. Let us know if this is the kind of thing you're interested in. Twitter, @magicgathstrat. And if you want to follow me, I'm @Cerulean Says Hi. We also have a Facebook page, lots of activity on there. It's a good way of keeping up with all of our content. Please like and subscribe. It helps us out, and we really appreciate it. We're working towards a membership goal of 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. If we do, we actually get to use YouTube's studio to record some things. Get some higher quality content for you, the viewers. I appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good day.